I believe that as a result of the sacrifices made by the people who marched here 200 years ago, that Britain was a democratic country. I believed that thanks to the tireless campaigning of the Chartists in the 1840s, British people had the right to vote. I believed that thanks to the suffragettes, every adult in this country, regardless of their sex or their station in life, had an equal say on how this country should be governed. Now, I'm not so sure. Because now I am told that the vote I cast in 2016, the most important vote of my life, can be overthrown. I am now told that the votes of my friends and my family can be overthrown. I'm now told that the votes of millions of my fellow citizens can be declared null and void, can be destroyed, can be erased from history. And if that can happen, if that does happen, then Britain is not a democratic nation. And the suffering of the people who marched in St. Peter's Field 200 years ago will have been in vain. And we cannot let that happen under any circumstances. We need to get really serious about Brexit. This is no longer simply a fight to take Britain out of the European Union, although that absolutely must happen. This is a fight for democracy itself. This is a fight to preserve the right to vote. This is a fight to ensure that ordinary people have as much say as rich people and posh people and those bloody people marching in London today to overturn the vote of 2016. This is a fight to say that the people who marched on this spot 200 years ago were right. They were right. They were right that poor people and uneducated people and people in the most difficult of circumstances, all people should have an equal democratic say. We are here today to say to them, you were right. And we are here today to ensure that the democratic progress they fought for on these actual streets, in this actual area 200 years ago, we're here to say that the democratic progress they fought for will not be snuffed out by the new elites. It will not be snuffed out by a political establishment that trusts bureaucrats and technocrats and snobs in Brussels more than it trusts us, the British people. We cannot underestimate the seriousness of the political moment we are living through. We are living through a battle for the soul of democracy. Because if our votes from 2016 can be trashed, then the right to vote itself becomes meaningless. If the largest democratic vote in the history of this nation is blocked, then voting itself will be emptied of meaning. If our votes are enacted only if the establishment agrees with what we say, that isn't the right to vote at all. That is the right to vote so long as you say what the establishment wants you to say. That would kill the right to vote stone cold dead. The elites who are lined up against Brexit and against people like us, what they really fear and loathe is democracy itself. It isn't the wisdom of leaving the European Union that they're calling into question. It's the wisdom of the people. It's the wisdom of people like us. What Gina Miller really detests is the idea that her cleaner has the same political authority as she does. What those snobs at The Guardian really detest is the idea that people who read The Sun have the same political power as they do. And what the People's Vote marchers really detest is the idea that the people on the council estate at the end of their street had the same right to determine whether we should be in the European Union as they had. Those people with their St. George's flags on their balconies and their tabloid newspapers tucked under their arms, they cannot believe that those people had the same rights as they had. That is the question that keeps these people awake at night. The question of how we arrived at a situation where ordinary people have the same political power as wealthy people. Democracy was a searingly radical idea when the marchers gathered on this spot 200 years ago. Because what they were saying is that we might not have education, we might not have wealth, but we have the same rights as you to determine who governs this country. And democracy is still a searingly radical idea. Friends, we owe so much to the people who gathered here 200 years ago. We owe our rights and our comforts to the people who gathered here 200 years ago. We cannot let them down. The thing that they fought for and the thing that some of them died for is under attack again. They fought and died for the right to a democratic voice, and the new establishment is trying to remove our democratic voice. Here they are. These people would have been on the side of the magistrates 200 years ago, sending the yeomanry to cut people down. 200 years ago, people's democratic rights were cut down by swords and sabres. Today, our democratic rights are cut down by parliamentary conniving and EU technocracy. The end result, however, is the same. Ordinary people will be silenced. And we're here to say, we won't be silenced anymore. We voted for Brexit. Brexit will happen. Thank you.